What's up, guys? Xailas back here with you with another Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes Xailas Plays for you. This time we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Still going to be doing the Ground Zeroes mission on hard difficulty, but this time we're going to turn the reflex off there, and we're going to actually do the order of things a little bit differently. Whereas last time I went and collected Chico first, this time I'm going to go ahead and get Paz first, which is actually quite a bit more difficult. Just in my experience, it is, at least. The guards are kind of situated in such a way that makes it a little difficult to go and get Paz out first. It's also kind of interesting to see how the story changes just a little bit. Not very much, but you hear just a couple of different little dialogue things when you go and get Paz first. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Unlike last time, I am not going to play the cinematics and everything, so this video is going to be considerably shorter than last time, thankfully. So it should be just about 20 minutes or so.
This is an infiltration.
So it'll be a little more bearable.
To stay out of sight. Before you go any further, use your binoculars to recon the area.
So again, this is on the hard difficulty, and hard truly is hard. I mean, they really up the sensitivity of the guards by quite a bit. So you really do have to be very careful. You have to watch your corners. You have to be very quiet and make liberal use of your noise-making items like your clip, your empty clip. Use that a lot to distract the guards. Also bodies, use them to your advantage, as you'll see in a couple of instances here. So at the beginning, if you're fast enough, you can actually kind of cut through the center of the base here fairly quickly.
You should move the bodies of enemies somewhere out of sight.
Now these bodies here I'm going to leave there purposely because they will actually come in handy a little later on. Now as we get into the compound here, you really have to take a very low profile. This area is very heavily guarded, so you have to be very careful.
You can move horizontally left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster.
Now with no reflex, you know, there is no pause, no slow motion if somebody sees you. If somebody sees you, it's instantly an alert. So kind of ups the tension by a factor of 10, if you will. But I actually really enjoy playing the game with no reflex.
Just don't forget you might put it in danger of being shot down.
Not that I'm entirely against the reflex, you know, I'm not like one of those players who's like, oh, reflex is for noobs or whatever. Reflex is something that actually for this particular game I think is more realistic than it would be in other games, because Snake is truly a battle-hardened soldier, and there has been real-life stories of soldiers that have said, hey man, when I'm in the middle of combat, there are times when everything just seems to slow down and just the adrenaline kicks in and it's kind of like slow motion. So it's actually a very real thing. So it's not hard for me to believe that Snake would have something like that going on. So the reflex I actually, you know, I appreciate it in this game. I don't think it's for, you know, noobs or anything like that. So I'll never speak poorly of anybody who wants to use the reflex. I think it's a great feature. Kojima was extremely wise to put it in the game. Just because he opened it up so much, and guards can literally come from any direction, and you know, MGS5 as a whole is definitely a more open-ended experience, so there's not quite as many opportunities to use corners and corridors and things like that to your advantage as much as there was in the previous MGS games. So it makes a lot of sense that Kojima would go ahead and implement the reflex system. It works very well, and perfectly fine if you do choose to use it. I actually do use it sometimes, and other times I choose not to, just to kind of increase the tension, like I said. It's cool either way. Great game. Now as we get into the compound here, this is another area where you really cannot let up on the carefulness here. So we're going to go ahead and drop these guards that are in here. And of course we're all non-lethal here. Very sensitive guard right up here under this canopy thing here, so I'm going to go ahead and distract him and move in for the CQC. Keep in mind here that when the rain is pouring heavily down, they have a little bit of a harder time hearing you approaching them from behind, so you can actually approach them at full crouching speed without worrying about them turning around. If the rain is not there, if it's just a clear sunny day or whatever, they will be able to hear you. If you're just mashing the stick forward, even in crouch, they will hear you and turn around and catch you. So you have to actually only do about a half tilt on your stick to just approach them very slowly when there is no ambient noise like rain. But when the rain is there, use it to your advantage. You can sneak up on them a little bit quicker and get them down. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these bodies behind this building. This guy kind of phases in from out of nowhere there, but I knew he was there. Kind of a little bit of a glitch thing going on there. I knew he was there, so I wanted to make sure that he wouldn't cause me any problems later on down the road. So I'm going to go ahead and collect all the bodies here that I've dropped and just put them behind this building so they will not give me any issues. Because after you do pick up pause here, some new guards do spawn in here, and they will see those guards down there. So you want to get them all out of the way so they don't come back to you.
Where's that record? Should be one left. That's it? I tossed it.
Now there's 4 guards down here. It's actually very deceptive. It seems like there's just the 2 talking and the 1 over here in the corner.
Got it. Right. It's time.
But in fact there are 4.
Must be the one you already found.
So these 2 guys that were just talking here, they're going to move out after their conversation concludes. You want to just be real patient, wait till they're out of their way, out of your way rather, and then deal with the 2 remaining guards. So I'm going to put this guy to sleep right here, and that's going to draw his buddy's attention. And we'll just come up behind him, stick him up, and order him down to the ground. And that'll take care of it.
I've marked the RV on your map. You need to carry pause there.
So the stick up is a great strategy. If you stick them up and you tell them to get down, they will stay down, so you can move around freely after they're down. Don't move around too much if you have not told them to get down, because they can quickly pick up their gun again and try and shoot you. But once they're down, they're down. They're good as sleep. So making liberal use of our expended clip there, like I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, use your clip often. It is one of your best tools, and you have an unlimited supply of them, so use them. So you can see some guards have respawned out here after we collected pause. We got 2 guards kind of moving out in the Jeep there, and then 1 more over here under this canopy thing. So again, I'm going to throw a clip there to get his attention and get a clean shot on the back of his head there. At this point, the area will be fairly clear, so you can kind of move out. I'm going to go ahead and go out the way I came. It is possible to try and sneak her back out through the main gate there, but it is a lot more difficult, and I just think this way is probably the best bet. So make sure you take care of this guy just outside the door. He will have spawned after Paz was rescued. Surprisingly, you can just rush right out here and get past the gate. Just make sure you stick close to the wall. Now, as I mentioned earlier, those bodies that I dropped toward the beginning of the run here are going to come in handy now. Well, they usually do. Sometimes this guy will see the body sitting there, and that will cause him to come over, and you can get a clean shot to his side. But in this case, I'm actually not going to need it, so it's not going to make a difference either way. Now, as we approach the LZ up here on the rocks, you have to be really careful of this guy here. If you're not quick enough, he will start coming back along that path, and he will see you. He'll have a nice straight shot at you trying to approach the rocks there. So take cover. If you're fast enough, get over there and take cover behind this wall and wait for him to start walking back. And then just stick him up and order him down to the ground. That'll take care of him. I'm going to call the chopper at this point to get it on its way. Save a few seconds. So once you order him down, he's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put pause down here, and I'm going to collect my silenced SMG. This is something that you do not necessarily have to do here. It's just something that I like to do. So I'm going to actually spot this spotlight way off in the distance over here, and I'm going to go ahead and take it out with my SMG. Super long distance shot. There it goes. So that way I don't have to deal with it, because that is the route I'm going to take to go get Chico. Just as my chopper is coming here to collect pause, I had a couple extra seconds, so I went ahead and took care of the spotlight while I had the time.
This is Marco, on station at LZ.
Alright.
Alright, that leaves Chico.
So there's just a tiny little bit of new dialogue there that you don't usually hear unless you are extracting pause first. Cause will note that Chico is left. So the guards will notice your chopper as it is leaving here. But you can actually use this to your advantage because the guards will not be paying so much attention to you as you're sneaking towards the prison camp here. You do have to be careful though. So we have the guard standing near the tower there. That is the guard that was manning the spotlight there. He's now out of the tower because the light obviously was destroyed. That's just going to open him up a little bit easier as opposed to trying to take him out from in the tower. This guy over here on the left side, he's very, very nosy. And he will occasionally spot you if you're not careful. As you can see there, he almost got me there on the alert, but I was able to take him out just in time. So once those two are down, you can begin to make your approach over here. There is one more guy you do have to be careful of, and he's on his way up the hill right now.
CP, this is Zone 1. We're standing down here. No hostile spotted. Over. This is CP.
There he is.
Stand out. Stand out. Return to your boat. Out.
And these guys can see you through the fence, through the corners of the fence and everything, so you cannot use the fence for cover. So use those bushes, use the barriers, whatever you got. So here's a perfect example of how sensitive these guards are on the hard difficulty. This is super long range here that these guys are seeing me. On normal, it wouldn't even be close to this. You'd have to get, you know, twice as close as I am now for them to even notice you. And again, over here, this guy on the left. Just gonna weasel over to this rock here. Now, from what I understand, the Phantom Pain will not actually have a difficulty setting. I could be mistaken, so don't quote me on that, but I think the game will probably adapt to your skill level. So unlike Ground Zeroes, where you could actually select normal or hard, the Phantom Pain will actually be adaptive, which is very cool. I actually like it that way. I like it when the game kind of senses if you're doing really well and kind of increases the guard sensitivity, or kind of lets up a little bit if you're not quite doing so well. I think that's cool, as opposed to possibly making a player feel like, oh, well, I have to play it on normal. I don't feel as good as some other players. You know, it just kind of avoids that problem altogether. You know, I really think Kojima, in designing the Phantom Pain, really wanted to make it a game that anybody could enjoy at any skill level, really. That's probably why, again, he put the reflex into the game, and trying to get this guy here. But it's not looking like my darts are connecting there, so I'm going to actually go up and do it the old-fashioned way. But, yeah, the Phantom Pain is looking like a game that anybody can really learn to pick up and play and really enjoy it. And I think that's just the best way to make a game, to be honest. That's in my opinion. You're always going to have your hardcore gamers and all that who are just like, no, we need a high difficulty setting, we need this, we need that. And that's fine, that's cool, but for me, gaming has always just been something to enjoy. I've never been a seriously competitive type of gamer where I feel like I need to be able to prove anything. I need to be able to prove that I can do this on hard, or get this rank, or get that rank. You know, that's just never been my style. So I really enjoy games that that are not based around that kind of mentality. Although I don't mind if there are facets of the game that are like that, if you so choose to play it that way. And this game is one of those types of games in where there is rankings. You know, there is such a thing as getting an S rank.
Keep an eye out for nearby enemies. They could try to shoot down the chopper.
But it's not vital that you get the S rank every time. Actually, this run is a perfect example of feeling satisfied with your run. Despite not getting an S rank. You'll see at the end of this, I actually come in with an A rank at the end of this run, but it doesn't really bother me too much, because I feel like the experience of having played the mission this way was a challenge in and of itself, and I completed it the way I wanted to complete it, so satisfying enough for me. Now this guy right here, just at the end there, now I catch him in the head there, but he sees me and sets off the alert, unfortunately. But realistically, you know, that would not have been an alert, because the guy would have had to have gotten on his radio and told the commander or whoever's on the other side of the radio that there's an intruder. And there's no way he would have had enough time to actually do that in real life. So that's why I really wasn't too worried about that. But that's going to do it. We got Chico loaded up. And so there's your look at the Ground Zeroes mission done in reverse. Pause first, Chico afterward. This has been the hard difficulty, no reflex mode. Quite a difficult thing to do. It's actually quite challenging. Give it a shot if you haven't tried it this way before. You may surprise yourself with just how much of a challenge it is. So there it is, 18 minutes with an A rank there. We did get the alert at the end. Like I said, it's all good, it's okay. I didn't bother rescuing any of the other prisoners or anything like that. I figured, you know what, let's just get the mission over with. If I had done that, we probably could have squeezed out the S rank. Those prisoners do give you quite a lot of extra points. But again, I wasn't going for the S rank. I was just going for completing the mission and not getting any obvious alerts. Any alerts that in real life would have caused any serious issues for Snake. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more Xailas Plays content in the future. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys later.